before the chisel found stone, before pigment graced cave walls. The tribe's history lived only in the fragile realm of memory. Like autumn leaves carried on the wind, stories faded as elders passed into the mist. The weight of generations threatened to crush the very essence of who they were. Then came Taru. He was not born to be a hunter. As a boy, his legs had been crushed beneath falling rocks, leaving him forever tethered to the warmth of the hearth. But while his body remained still, his mind roamed free. Taru watched. He listened. He remembered every hunt that set out at dawn's first light, every flood that swelled the river's banks, every face that gathered around the fire, from wrinkled elders to wide-eyed babes. Taru held them all within the vast caverns of his mind. One evening, as the hunters prepared for a long journey into lands unknown, Taru sat quietly, a smooth river stone resting in his lap. His gnarled fingers traced its cool surface, feeling the whisper of possibility. With trembling hands, he grasped a shard of flint and began to scratch. The marks were simple at first, a line for each day that passed. A crude shape to represent a beast felled by spears, its wavy lines to mark the path of rivers crossed. Yet, in these humble scratches, something profound was taking shape. When the hunters returned, their bodies lean and eyes haunted by the trials they had faced, Taru beckoned them close. He held out the stone, pointing to a jagged mark etched near its edge. The men's eyes widened in recognition. That had been the day the great boar attacked, nearly claiming 2 of their own. Another mark spoke of a death. An elder who had not survived the journey, Stenza, and there a symbol of hope. The discovery of a new spring that had sustained them in parched lands. This was not art meant to please the eye. This was memory made solid, unchanging, a bridge between what was and what is. Soon, Taru's hands rarely rested. He gathered more stones, each one becoming a keeper of the tribe's story. Held the tale of hunts, both bountiful and lean. Recorded the miracle of new life, tiny hands reaching for the stars. Yet another spoke of raging storms that shook the very foundations of the earth. He arranged them carefully, forming a circle near the fire's glow. Each stone a chapter, each mark a verse in the ever-growing song of their people. When curious children approached, drawn by the strange symbols, Taru's eyes would light up. His calloused finger would trace each mark. His voice low and reverent as he wove the threads of memory into tales that made the past breathe once more. Sometimes the elders would lean close, their own memories stirring. They would correct a detail here, add richness there. But the stones, patient and unyielding, never forgot. As seasons turned and Taru's hair grew white as winter frost, he found his breath growing thin, his eyes clouding like morning mist. Yet his hands, though gnarled by time, remained steady. He reached for one last stone, smooth and unmarked, save for a single spiral etched at its heart. "This one," he whispered, his voice barely louder than the crackling fire, "is for what comes next." When Taru's spirit finally joined the ancestors in the sky above, the tribe gathered around the circle of stones. They called it the Circle of Days, a name spoken with reverence and awe. Though they could not yet read the marks as Taru had, they began to listen with their eyes, to see the whispers of history etched in stone. He could not walk the world, so he made the world walk to him. In the quiet scrape of flint on stone, Taru had birthed something greater than himself. He had given memory a home beyond the fragile confines of flesh and bone. Long after the last echo of Taru's voice faded from living memory, the stones remained. Silent sentinels, guardians of the past, that refused to be forgotten. And in their presence, the tribe learned a profound truth, that to remember is to live forever. The spiral stone, last of Taru's legacy, stood as a promise, a reminder that the story is never truly finished, that each mark is but a beginning. For as long as there are hands to trace the symbols and hearts to hold the tales, the circle remains unbroken. And so, the stones never forgot.